Magmus. Glacius.
Oh my god, my mic was muted that whole time. How about that?
I'm doing great, Brady. How are you doing?
Boy. Okay. Anyways. Hello.
Hi.
And welcome. Yeah, that was silly. My mic was definitely muted that whole time. Anyways, you know what this is. This is game 2, guys, here. Grand Finals. Well, Phil, game 1, man. tdM. Coming back there. Looking good.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely put on a good show. And even still, I think Clan Milk they just didn't execute well. I mean, early on in the game, they completely dominated the laning phase, but they didn't keep pressure up on the right heroes. I mean, Riser on Forsaken Archer didn't die at all, until later on in the game. Or no, he did die once early on.
Yeah.
He died once early on, and then he basically took off. And instead of continuing to keep those heroes who they knew were going to need farm down, they just didn't do anything. In my opinion, they just wandered around. They pub trained nothing.
Yeah.
It was after they took down all the towers, which is great, having all the towers down by the 22-minute mark, the outer towers at least. But when you have that kind of gold, that kind of income, the hell are you doing when they're not if you're not using that to win the game, then
Yeah, decisions in team fights, and perhaps the ultimate, just not really doing enough with the advantage that they had early on, like I kept going back to, I think was big downfall for Clan Milk. But at the same time, Trademark Esports, again, they did play very well themselves. They held their ground. They regrouped after being down early on in the game, and were able, of course, to fight back. But picks are nearly finished here, so we got to really quickly go into the bans. Magebane, Valkyrie, Ophelia, Polywalk Priest, Tempest, Parasite, Cthulhu Font, and Tundra. So definitely a couple of heroes banned this time around that weren't the first game. Magebane and Parasite, I believe, and Cthulhu Font for that matter. So 3 new bans there. Obviously, Magebane wasn't played that first game, but, well, banned by tdM right there. So just in case, very likely, well, we don't want to see TD, or we don't want to see Magebane in this game. So any thoughts on the bans, Phil, before moving on to the picks?
Valkyrie banned again, once again by Clan Milk. Cthulhu Font, definitely banned by tdM. Strong hero. Not really too much else to say. The Parasite ban doesn't surprise me, nor will it surprise anyone in chat once they see it. I mean, the hero is one of the only heroes, in my opinion, that maintains the same ridiculous effectiveness at all stages of the game.
Yeah.
Like early on in the game, stupid. Middle game, stupid. Late game, stupid. He's a stupid hero. I mean, not like S2 bad hero. Just he's ridiculously good. He's stupid good.
Yeah.
At all parts of the game, and having minimal farm on him still allows you to be very effective in setting up solo kills. And when the team like Clan Milk, they what I really like about what they did was, or what tdM did was, they found those times when Clan Milk wasn't together, and then they made kills out of that. That's actually how they got back into the game. Also, Clan Milk playing 1700s in team fights, but other than that, they did an excellent job of picking off heroes. Z-Freak, far and away, in my opinion, pound for pound, the best.
Pound for pound. Yeah, he is up there as one of I think it's hard to argue and the best jungler in the game right now. But yeah, let alone
second best.
Oh well,
I'm just kidding.
I forgot you, of course, forgot you. My bad. Yeah, so great player, of course. Very nice guy too. Always like to bring that up. Anyways, picks here. How about these picks? We got that to talk about. Demented Shaman, Moraxis, Glacius, Keeper of the Forest, and Bubbles once again. So Yeah, they were able to get more access over here on Trademark Esports side. Again, I didn't necessarily pay too much attention to the order. It was actually looked like it was first pick more access for tdM, so obviously they were happy to get that out of the way for them early on. Of course, Moon Meander going to play for them here. And Demented Shaman, not a hero that's, we've been seeing less and less of, it seems like, lately on the competitive scene. Still very powerful, and is at this bottom lane, and is he going to be playing solo? That is curious down here. Trafamador, looks like we're going to see a Demented Shaman short lane solo, or is Glacius going to come down here? And that makes it even that much more interesting. All right. Yeah, didn't expect this to happen here. Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, I like it because it's unique. Demented Shaman we've seen run in a lot of different ways, similar to many other heroes, where you can see him solo mid. No-Tail had some success with him in that portion. Great hero to keep yourself alive with. The fact that he's going up against the Pebbles definitely is going to make it, a little more difficult for Pebbles to get close to that creep wave. Especially if he puts, once he gets a couple more levels into the healing wave. And Glacius, I can kind of see it working out in the way of using Ice Imprisonment. You see Terafamador actually being stunned by Pebbles there to stop the harassment that they were putting out on Aluna. So Aluna was in a little bit of trouble right there. But yeah, Demented Shaman, it's unique, but I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. As for the rest of the team, looks good. Pretty standard.
Yeah. Yeah, just powerful all around. Of course, Bubbles along lane solo. You got more access solo mid. And Keeper of the Forest again being played by Z-Freak. He's going to take care of that jungle role down there at the bottom jungle. But yeah, and don't get me wrong. Again, Demented Shaman, I've definitely said this in the past too, and we have seen cases of it. I love seeing him in this case being a role of, him being the focus of the lane at the very least, if not in that solo role, which it kind of is, here and there. Obviously, Glacius is spending a little bit of time warding and perhaps going to be doing some stacking. But Demented Shaman is definitely the focus in this middle or the bottom lane, and so far seems to be doing pretty good, especially if he builds aggressively like it looks like he's going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to go level 2 Entangle here. Yes, he does. So he just hit level 3, goes to level 2 Entangle with that level 1 healing wave, and that Entangle, man, I mean, if you get it added up, especially earlier on in the game, it hits hard. I mean, we see him use it right there in Aluna. All of a sudden, Aluna's at half-life with a couple of auto attacks and having that debuff on her. So Demented Shaman with that Entangle again can prove to be very, very dangerous with that. I do wonder if he's going to go Unbreakable as well at level 4. Again, even for offensive purpose, if not for defensive purpose, especially when you're facing an Aluna Pebbles lane. Might not be the worst deal to do that, but yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by Trafamador here on this Demented Shaman and see how that plays out. Hellborn team, though, let's actually talk about them real quickly. Silhouette, Pebbles, Wretched Hag, Aluna, and Magmus. They are going to Magmus Silhouette top. Of course, you got middle Wretched Hag. Then, as we talked about, the Aluna Pebbles at that bottom lane. We'll see if Pebbles is able to take off as well as Wretched Hag, but also going to the Silhouette pickup and seen her a lot lately. So, Hellborn team, Phil.
It's a Pebbles. Great hero. Nymphora wasn't banned. Kind of surprised that she wasn't picked up by the Hellborn team, especially instead of a hero like Aluna. It's a really, really strong combination. Aluna does offer a little bit more in the fact that she has some carry potential, but I obviously don't see her running in that route, especially considering there are other heroes that that they have on the team. So it's a little bit surprising to me to see that they decided not to pick the Nymphora up. Instead of Aluna, but it is a double stun lane combination. I really like what they have going for them. Magmus, great strong initiator, very often banned. You see Entangle on Pebbles. Pebbles in a lot of trouble. The last auto attack, no, it's not going to hit. You see Entangle still doing a lot of damage, but will likely wear off just in time. Yes, there it is, all the way down to 26 life. So, this combination at the bottom lane is doing quite a bit of damage. And they're not going to get this Pebbles the easy farm that you normally expect for him to get. Currently at 160 gold per minute. And like I said, Demented Shaman's making it really hard on him. He's only 10-0 right now at 4.5 minutes in, whereas the Demented Shaman 20-7.
Yeah. So,
I mean, they're really putting it on this bottom lane.
Yeah, how about that? Demented Shaman again, definitely being a big focus down here. So tdM making that big statement and perhaps even catching Trademark Esports off guard at the same time. But that is great news because Pebbles, if you can manage to get him to a slow start, it obviously takes away a lot of that effectiveness, that snowball. that we see from him so much. So taking a look at the other lanes, though. Let's see how the other lanes are playing out. Of course, the middle lane, the next one in line, Wretched versus that Moraxis. And so far, we got a 23-7 Moraxis against a 19-4 Hack. So Milk Fat and Moon Meander going at it here, and it seems like Moon Meander does have this slider edge, as he also just hit level 6 right there. So of course he will have that Matrix ability, his ultimate, and just in case if he gets in a dangerous spot, or even maybe look to use it aggressively, if he thinks that he can get a kill onto this Wretched deck, perhaps even some tower diving, very likely possibility. But so far, Moon Meander, again, having the advantage here early on. One of the better solo mid players in the game. Glacier at the bottom lane in the meantime is going to get taken out, though, as Pebbles and Aluna do enough with that double stun. Demented Shaman there to try to save him, but as we saw, just not enough. So that Pebbles Aluna, they've been having a lot of pressure on themselves, but they are a very powerful combination themselves at the same time, and showed it right there at least.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a, like I said, double stun. Like we just talked about the Aluna stun earlier last game as far as how effective it is at all stages of the game. And, you know, really using it to its most effectiveness right there by securing the bloodless kill. So a really nice start for Clan Milk as far as hero kills are concerned. But look at the overall stats. They're still down in gold. They're actually way behind in experience for it being, you know, only 6 minutes in. But I guess that's to be expected considering they are running a jungle. It really comes down to Riser, in my opinion, who's playing wonderfully in this series thus far. Mm-hmm. And on Bubbles, doing a great job of maintaining lane control and getting last hits near the tower. So you look at his stats right now, 16-2 for a 1-2, especially against a Magnus silhouette. That's really respectable.
Yeah, he's actually made a couple of nice getaways. Actually caught it very early on, really as the lanes just started. He actually avoided the Magnus stuff the last second. Just caught the tail end of my camera and was able to shell surf port away. And there was one a little bit earlier where he got comboed but was barely able to shell surf port out and stay alive. But you're right. I mean, it's really not that bad. It's not by any means up there with the tops in the game. But, you know, again, with that situation, you don't expect him to be. But the fact that he is level 6 and is managing to get 16 creep kills at the very least, again, not too shabby. And that goes to back to what we talked about last game when Moravis was playing Bubbles for Clan Milk, who had a very dominating start. But, you know, we are used to seeing more of this style of start in this case from a Bubbles. It just adds to it when you manage to get at least some decent creep kills on top of that. So Moraxis is going to once again pressure Wretched Hag to win the middle lane and force her to blink away. So a lot of credit to Moon Meander, by the way. And again, an interesting note to make here. Obviously, as we stressed, tdM playing without B-Kid, who is their normal 5th, instead using Riser as a ringer here. And B-Kid would be the one to normally play this Moraxis role. But, you know, with him missing, again, on vacation, Moon Meander taking over as the role and is actually doing a pretty solid job here again in that middle matchup. 1 versus 1. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Keeper of the Forest going to get caught out by the roaming Aluna Pebbles. They take it to the jungle, and they take out Z-Freak as a result. Very smart, because he is level 7. He just got the Ring of Sorcery, and possibly was looking to set up a gank at the bottom lane in the near future. So, excellent job by Clan Milk there.
No, they're doing a really nice job of roaming around and of kind of making plays happen where they need to happen. But, again, the experience lead is going to play, in my opinion, a large factor here, especially it's the Pebbles who really stands out to me. He's not farming well. He's not getting that great of experience. I mean, by 8 minutes in, you would expect for Pebbles to at least have his steam boots and, you know, working his way towards that portal key at this point for being in the side lane. However, Demented Shaman and Glacius, they played really, really well down here. I mean, look at Demented Shaman's farm, 43 and 16 compared to that 19 and 3 Pebbles. You know, now obviously the Silhouette, who's in a 2 versus 1 situation, as expected, is doing much better than anybody else in the game at 53 and 14, but still only at 325 gold per minute. So you can tell that Bubbles has definitely been effective, at least in that top lane, of making some plays happen. In comes Keeper of the Forest and Bubbles, and coming in, and nice ultimate from him. Follow up with the root, yes we will. However, Bubbles gets completely turned around on, so I think that's a death that could have been avoided. I don't think Riser really needed to be in that position. I'm not sure if Z-Freak kind of missed his cue in interrupting the combination for Pebbles, but they will get a 2 for 1, and tdM is now on the board. The experience lead increases. They may actually pick up a defensive tower kill right here. Wouldn't surprise me to see Magnus kind of hanging in, but with just Magnus and still only level 5, not a whole lot that he's really going to be able to do here to stop this defensive tower from going down. Although a port is coming in, we'll see if they choose to back off here. Magma's stunning in, Diminished Shaman in a little bit of trouble. Here comes Pebbles, going to use that the stun. And, wow, really nice turnaround here from Clan Milk.
Not sure what Trough was thinking there. Just like Riser, definitely making a bit of a miscue and running up to Pebbles. That's the last thing you want to do when he's in a spot like that. But Demented Shaman right there. I mean, he dove onto that tower as the ports were coming in. Again, I don't know if he felt like he could get a nice healing bomb off or whatever, but really just kind of overextended a little bit right there, and well, kind of gave them a kill almost. But and the tower has obviously being denied as well, as you pointed out. So that actually ended up working not too bad for Clan Milk. I mean, still think tdM definitely having some nice push right there, but hell, you could even argue that Clan Milk ultimately won that fight that happened down at the bottom lane because of how it ended especially. So making the best of a shitty situation pretty much. Demented Shaman will use an offensive Stormcloud here in the middle lane in the meantime as more push going on. Speaking of that, Moraxis is here in the front lines. Everyone's here for that matter now for Trademark Esports. Remember though, the route is still down for the 20 seconds from Keeper of the Forest, so won't have that, and I'm sure Clan Milk very aware of that as well, but they're going to do what they can for now. You mentioned too, Magma's not level 6 yet, so no Eruption going to be coming out from him. Instead, we'll only be able to stun in and maybe Steam Bat to help get away. Are they going to deny this tower or at least attempt to defend it? No, the deny right there from Kareem's. Great job by Aluna and Wretched Hag. Aluna ends up getting a Wretched Hag, though. She's going to get jumped on. The Keeper of the Forest Root holding in her place will go down. Magnus will use the Steam Bath and stun away. Maybe set up a kill to Moraxis. And even Bubbles, who will get comboed down. Yes, he will. Magnus ends up falling. But Pebbles in the front line. Silhouette also finally joining the party. And she's trying to take the Keeper of the Forest. But Keeper goes in Viz with that Nature's Veil. And it will survive. What a chaotic fight right there. Again, Clan Milk, though, making the best of a shitty situation there.
Yeah, no, it's actually not working out too badly, and for the first time in the game, they're going to take a lead in both gold and experience. It's not a huge lead, but it is a lead, so we'll see what they're able to make happen with that. They're off to a pretty good start. Pebbles 3-1-3 now. Those kills definitely going to help boost the gold that he missed out in the early laning phase, and he is beginning to catch up a little bit in creep kills as well. So doing a really nice job of maximizing right there. Already finished the Steam Boots, 780 gold saved up, so on his way to perhaps Portal Key. I don't think that he'll pick up an early Ring of Sorcery now that he's already got that, but Tralfamador.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, for having such a great start, for tdM, they sure look like they're falling apart right now, but if anything, if we saw anything from last game, tdM definitely knows how to mount a comeback, and if Clan Milk makes any mistakes, tdM is definitely the type of team to capitalize on him. Sender being taken out there, you saw the Haunt at the last second to help secure the kill, but Clan Milk, they're really moving around, and Milkfat is not doing that badly despite not having the best time in middle lane. He's really making his presence known in some of these small skirmishes. See Moraxis hanging out invisible at the top lane, trying to set something up on Silhouette perhaps, looking for an opportunity to get there, but there we go. There's the Quake stun right there. Silhouette, she's going to use that stun of her own to try to escape. And Keeper of the Forest cannot get in range on time. Does not even have mana for a root right now. And in fact, it's actually going to cool down Pebbles, however. He might be in a little bit of trouble. You see the Demented Shaman just using everything he can. Nice talk right there, but not going to be enough to... Oh my god! Pebbles is going to survive perhaps. And nope, he ends up going down. He tried to come back in to help out. And you see the Keeper of the Forest using that root right there. Silhouette will die to one more auto attack. As the G's get dropped. In comes Magnus, however, to clean up Keeper of the Forest. And Magnus looking like he's going to be maybe coming back in to set something up, but he could be in a little bit of trouble as Moraxis comes out. Quake Stun does not land, but the auto attack will be enough to secure the kill. And now Silhouette just kind of put some auto attacks in there, so that ended up being a really nice team fight for tdM right there.
Yeah, Tralfamador definitely getting the hat trick at the finish there, so he made a very strong comeback in that final. It's an 1,100 gold saved up for him on top of the items that he has, so his GPM, we're sitting around that 300 comfortable gold mark there. Yeah, that was definitely something of a fight. A lot of back and forth going on between those two teams. It did look like for a moment there that Clan Milk may have been able to start a comeback, especially with that Pebble situation. But with him choosing to go back in and definitely putting himself in the kill spot, and really just also good timing from Demented Shaman too to join the party. And obviously, as I said, we saw the ending result from that with a hat trick. So well played overall by Trademark Esports as a team and coming out on top there. Now the kind of a little bit of a downside. They weren't able to push the tower, unfortunately. like I'm sure that they ultimately wanted to, but that's again, not the worst deal in the world. They did get all those hero kills, and again, Demented Shaman got some more farm out of it, who now has also a Fortified Bracer, so very likely Astrolabe going to be in the works for him earlier on. And that I was actually going to be curious, obviously, with this Demented Shaman play and how he's been working at it. Were we going to see almost a carry-style DS with the? I mean, you look at this lineup; they don't have that carry whatsoever. So it could have been very likely, and may still be even choosing to go Astrolabe earlier on, but. It looks like at the very least Astrolabe will be the first item, but he may need some help right here, and he may get it from Glacius, but no more axes will get caught. Activates that Matrix, though. Gonna keep him alive for now. Demented Shaman trying to turn this around, but at what cost right there? Gets chucked in the air, and yes, will be bursted down. So he came back in, trying to maybe save more axes. Not gonna be enough, though. Ends up getting himself killed, and the rest of the team will fall back. So Clan Milk, another good pick for them, and well, it's almost as if we're back to even footing. Now, I will say, though, something we really haven't addressed too much. Silhouette has been continuing to have a very good farm, and she has to have that Nullstone. I guess not in the near future, but she's definitely working on it, and on her way to, well, I'm guessing the Blessed Orb as that next item. So,
yep.
It's getting some good farm. 345 gold per minute here early on.
Yeah, no, Silhouette is off to a really good start. And hold on, sorry, I'm answering a phone call. I'm not answering, but ignoring a phone call.
I was gonna say, well,
yeah.
Second.
But yeah. So like you were saying, Silhouette on her way to that Nullstone will be definitely a very good pickup. But you always have to keep in mind, Demented Shaman having that entangle. Pretty short cooldown, pretty decent, pretty decent ability to cancel a Nullstone. So we'll see if that comes into effect at all. Miraxis is in a little bit of trouble here, perhaps, but nope. Going to turn this around on Magmus, and Magmus just absolutely obliterated. And Miraxis, however, might be in a little bit of trouble. Has that haste rune. Going to try to perhaps turn this around on Pebbles. Pebbles in a lot of trouble, and yes, Miraxis continues to live. Now Luna receiving a couple auto attacks here from Glacius. Glacius backing off a little bit. Trappador coming on his way on up. And Bubble's going to use that ultimate to trap this Aluna. Aluna using a nice little stun, but going to end up breaking that plane to activate the stun, form the Bubble's ultimate. And now they're going to be able to mount a really nice tower push. And with those heroes down, 20 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but with this type of lineup, this team is definitely the kind of lineup who could push at least that base tower here at the bottom lane. We'll see what they decide to do.
Yeah, they're going in right here. Keeper of the Forest has those minions out. Cooldown coming up in 5 seconds. It doesn't look like they're going to fully commit to it, though, instead.